Hello and welcome everybody, this is Yost Learbach. It is the time for a vlog. I'm gonna do kind of two vlogs in one in this one. As you may have noticed, I'm wearing some interesting attire that I acquired from this little thing called Loot Crate. It's a pretty interesting thing. Every month they send you a little box full of little goodies. And I'm gonna basically be showing this off for that. It's gonna be a real quick video. And the next one I'm gonna do pretty much after that is a review or a vlog of review impressions of A Link Between Worlds. And the reason I'm doing this is because I kind of really want to try my hands at a review, and I figure I can get away with this because at least Nintendo won't be able to flag me with copyright ID for whatever BS they're trying to do. And yeah, I'll try throwing some music in the background here that's like Zelda related. So yeah. So anyway, first off, we got the Loot Crate stuff. They sent me a sticker with the character from the Bravest Warriors web series. I can't remember what his name is now. I've seen this series, or I've seen the first season. I haven't seen the second season yet, but I can't remember what the guy's name is. The pen, all this right here, like the pen, this and this are all related to the Bravest Warriors, and I like excuse me there. I like the Bravest Warriors. I also like Adventure Time, written by the same guy. This right here is a cat bug as a little loot crate, so I think that's kind of cool. I'm just gonna set that down right there. So they also sent me. Let's see if I can get this. Thing itches like hell, man. Sent me a bow tie which is also related. It's the same guy with the. Oh, Rainbow Bear? No, that doesn't sound right. Crap. He's one of the background characters. That's why I don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen Bravest Warriors, so I barely remember any of the characters' names. Anyway, there's one more thing Bravest Warriors related. Gas-powered stick, y'all! Yeah, they sent me a little tote bag so I can put stuff in. I kind of like it. It doesn't feel good, like it's made out of quality. It feels like it's gonna break pretty easily. Though, 1 second, that could be. There we go. Because I have this as my tote bag. This is like years old. This is like from when I was like 7, I think. Yeah, Hard Rock Cafe, Myrtle Beach. So this is a long time ago, and I've been using this to store a few little quick things. Well, actually, all my magic cards now. I got rid of a lot of them. This, if I'm ever out and I need to drink water, I can spritz some of this in there. Cherry flavored Kool-Aid stuff, kind of like the Keo or Rio stuff, whatever it's called. Some pure gel and some spare allergy medicine that I'm using in case of emergencies. Like now when I don't have any allergy medicine. But anyway, you don't care about that. You care about more what's in the Loot Crate. Let's see. I already showed you the sticker. I already showed you the. Can show you the shirt here. A bunch of heroic characters. There's like Joust, Pitfall, Contra, Tetris, the Mario Bros. Oregon Trail. I think that's Oregon Trail. I think that's Warcraft. You see these little letters on there. I think they give you a hint of what they are, like Mega Man and Halo, or Master Chief, Donkey Kong, Zelda, right there, Excite Bike, so on and so forth. You get the idea. And let's see. They also sent me a lovely card made of bacon. I love you. More than bacon. On my video, what I have right here is like everything's flipped. I don't know if it's flipped for you guys. I'll figure it out later, but it's like I got it flipped so it's easier for me to like kind of see where I'm moving my hands and which hand's moving, because seeing it flips like I'm moving this hand and then this hand's actually the one that's moving. Yeah, it's a little confusing, especially when I see my bracelet. Then yeah. Anyway, so right here, this is the second to last thing. This is the first thing I showed you. This is a digital comic of Bravest Warriors #1. Right there you can see the code and go into Comixology for it. Don't bother putting in the code, I already put it in. Though they may let you have multiples, I don't know. In which case, go ahead. Well, there's nothing that's gonna make me stop you from doing that. And finally, this weird little thing called Dunny Sideshow. It's this little blind box of a bunch of these little dudes, different things. And real quick, I might also add, I have some blind box turrets from Portal. I have about 4 of these dudes. I'll go ahead and show these off real quick. Let me get that back. Actually, you know what? I'll probably just go ahead and show you right here. There we go. So right there, this right here is it says Minecraft. I made this myself using clay from the river, from the nearby river in the wood behind my house. Oh, behind my neighborhood actually. So right there you got the portal. You got some Psychonauts, blind bag characters, Dr. Lobato and Dogen. A little Yoshi thing one of my friends got me when he was in where was it? I think Arizona. Doing like some race car stuff. Some more portal turrets, a Beanie Baby, and a little snowman thing I've yet to put away from Christmas. But it's technically still winter, so that's good. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. I think it's everything from Loot Crate, and more. Try to get the cat bug back on here. Yeah, come on, get in the there. Trying to do that one-handed is not easy. There. So yeah, so like I said, my second thing is going to be a review of A Link Between Worlds. Or sort of a kind of a review of it. See if I can figure out a way to set this. No, that's just gonna fall. Kind of wish I prepared a little. That's gonna fall too. A little better. There we go. Okay, so this may end up also being fairly short because this is my first kind of vlog review thing. So, A Link Between Worlds is a sequel to A Link to the Past in the same way that Ocarina of Time, Legend of the Wind Waker is a sequel to Ocarina of Time. Actually, it's not even that, really. Story-wise, it is. Gameplay-wise, it's more like gameplay-wise, it's more like a sequel. It's like how Majora's Mask is a sequel to Ocarina of Time, if that makes any sense. Gameplay-wise, it keeps the same mechanics, same basic mechanics as Link to the Past. Story-wise, it's completely different. Now, one of the big draws of this game is that you're playing in Link to the Past's Hyrule, which you pretty much are. There's a few differences here and there, but you know, you're thinking that the game technically takes place 100 to 300 years or so, or however long, a couple hundred years after the fact. It makes sense that there'd be things that would change. Try not to show my hair. I don't look good without a hat on. And most of the stuff does stay in its normal place, and that someone who played the Link to the Past and not necessarily grew up on it, I gotta say it was pretty good. Actually, I grew up on the Game Boy Advance version. which is pretty much the same as the original version. I never actually beat it, I don't think. I got to Ganon and I could never beat him. That's how it was for a lot of these older games for me. Link's Awakening was one of those games that I never beat. Link's Awakening was my very first Zelda game. You know, the first Game Boy version. Not DX. I didn't get DX. I unfortunately didn't have DX. I wanted DX, but yeah, I had the original. Actually, I recently found it. I think it's in my little. Here we go. Apparently, I did own the DX version. Huh. I did not originally own the DX version. This was like a friend of mine. One of my friends must have given me this a long time ago, and I've never played the DX version. Wow. I swear to you, I've never played the DX version. Well, I played it on the emulator once before, but that's just because I couldn't find a regular version. I own a DS or 3DS in this case, and yes, you are looking at that. That is the Mario and Luigi version. It came with Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. I've been playing through that. I haven't beaten it yet, and I've been thoroughly enjoying it though. However slow I've been playing it. We're not here for that. We're here for Link Between Worlds. And if you're here for Loot Crate, well, that's already done and gone, so you know those people have already left. But anyway, so it takes place in the same world. It's pretty much the same world, and so yeah, it was really fun to go back through Hyrule, especially to reimagine Link's the Past Hyrule that's actually in 3D. And though the game plays like an isometric 2D game, like, you know, the classic Zelda game, like classic Zelda and or I have trouble saying classic Zelda games because Zelda 2 wasn't exactly, yeah, and you only had like 3, 4, I guess 6 games counting the Oracle games. Yeah. So yeah, I guess you could say multiple old school. You know, the original 2D Zelda games. It plays like that, but it's in a 3D environment. And the reason I say it's not like fake 3D, where it's because you can actually get stuff stuck on top of trees and roofs if you're not careful. And I've had that happen quite a few times. Mostly, you know, little hard things that dropped off of enemies. Nothing, rupees, nothing big. But yeah, so. I think I'm gonna try to get into the story last and get to the mechanics. So I'll try to avoid spoilers, so that people who don't want to be spoiled by the game, can go ahead and say. I'm gonna go ahead and spoil this right now, real quick. I recommend this game to anyone who's a fan of Zelda. I recommend this game to anyone who's a fan of the Zelda style 2D platformers, or anyone who likes Nintendo in general. Obviously, it's a Nintendo game. It's gonna be good. But anyway, so the gameplay mechanics actually is pretty interesting. Or some of the gameplay mechanics is interesting. Most of it's the same as what we've seen before. You know, you press B to swipe your sword, and you equip 2 items and stuff like that. And you use different items to the dungeon. Now, here's an interesting thing about the game. You can do the first 2 dungeons you get in the game, you can do in any order. And then after you get done with those 2 dungeons, you got the last 6 or 7 dungeons that you can do in any order you want. Sort of. And then you got the final dungeon, which is, you know, the final area. It's kind of interesting how they do that, because so you're probably wondering, well, how are you supposed to be able to do that? Obviously, they have to redesign it so that you don't have to use the items. Except they redesign it in such a way that you get the items, sort of. At the beginning of the game, you run into this Nabbit-looking fellow called Ravio. He's wearing this like bunny hood-looking thing that makes him look like Nabbit. Apparently, it was looked at as an accident. Like, the designer of the game, I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now, said that was a complete coincidence. It's supposed to represent the bunny form, Link's rabbit form, and everything in the Dark World and Link's the Past. I don't 100% believe it because it looks too much like Nabbit. Oh boy, that guy. You know, whenever you play a game and you give character and you play a game without voice acting and you give characters certain voices in your heads, I gave him a really annoying voice, and it's one of those voices that I really want to let's play the game now, but I can't let's play because of content ID crap. You know, I'm trying to make at least a little bit of money off of my YouTube account. I'm sorry, guys. I know it's sellout, boohoo, whatever. Boohoo, you know, gotta make a living somehow. And you know, I got a part-time job, even though I got a job at McDonald's that doesn't pay well. It's $7.25 an hour. It's great. Don't get me wrong. McDonald's is a great place, but it's like it's not my kind of. I'm not built for that kind of work. But it's the only place that's hiring, and you know, it doesn't pay very well. I'm still living with my dad. I'm 25 years old living with my dad. I can't afford to pay rent. So yeah, having a YouTube money thing, making me like $5 a month. Yeah, that's how much I make on average, I guess. I'm not sure if I make that much. I make very little money, and it's enough to buy a soda. It's enough to buy a meal at McDonald's. There you go. It's enough to buy a meal at McDonald's. You know, fries, drink, and food. Fries, drink, the main thing. Okay. And just so you know, I do not eat. Though I don't eat the hamburgers. I don't eat the hamburgers at McDonald's very often because I work the grill, and when you're working the grill, that's the most common thing you're seeing. And when I try to try to eat one, I just kind of go, ugh. I've been around it too long. I will recommend anything with their crispy chicken is delicious. Oh, the crispy chicken is, oh man, it's delicious. I never thought I'd be eating food from McDonald's that wasn't a hamburger. But anyway, going back to Link Between Worlds. So here's the thing: when you meet Ravio, he's this annoying guy that kind of takes over your house and creates a store in the house. And the way this works, he sells you items that you would use in dungeons: bombs, arrows, or bows and arrows, or bow, elemental rods, hook shot, and boomerang, and I want to say at least one other item. See, boomerang, hook shot, bow. There's 4 different rods you can buy, and bombs. And at first he rents them out to you, and later on you can buy them for a full price. But he rents them out to you for like really cheap. And if you die, and decide to hit continue, he collects them, and you have to re-rent them. So that's actually kind of cool. Kind of cool concept. And I played through the game. I died only about 5 times, surprisingly enough. It gives you like how often you died in the game, and I only died like 5 times. It's like, I was surprised. I mean, you guys have seen my Let's Plays of games. I die all the time in every game I play. Even if I'm on easy mode, I die. I mean, I just got done with Bioshock 2, and I die at one point. I don't think... Yeah, the video's already up at this point. I died at the point where you're fighting the 2 big sisters. But by the way, if you've been watching that video, if you haven't watched that video, then that's my 3rd attempt to get through that video without the game crashing on me suddenly. And the first 2 times I didn't die, so yeah, I guess it's the Let's Play curse, right? But yeah, anyway, so yeah, if you die, he collects the items, takes them back, and you have to rebuy them. So that's kind of an interesting idea. It also kind of changed up the mechanics of how certain dungeons or certain parts of dungeons work. Like, say you go into an area with a dungeon, you need bombs. Well, you don't have bombs. Well, there's usually these little bomb dudes that kind of float around, and you just whack them once and pick them up and toss them. I never used those guys. I think I used them twice. but I didn't have to use them. And oh well, that Skype can wait. Actually, I haven't talked to her in a while. Hold on one sec. This is gonna be. I haven't talked to this certain person on Skype for a while, so I'm just gonna like probably be going back and forth from that, and I'll try to keep that. Anyway. So Robbie will pick up on your items. Okay, there you go. Hopefully that'll be the last message. Hopefully, so Robbie will pick up your items. He has this little bird thing that follows him around, kind of like a fairy, but it's not. It doesn't look anything like. It sort of looks like a fairy from the right angles, but it doesn't. There we go. Hopefully that will be the end of it. This person I haven't talked to in a while, and I've kind of been unintentionally ignoring her. And she's one of my sort of friends, someone I've met online a while ago, and I never actually met in person. But we talk every now and then. So anyway, we do. Anyway, so back to the story. Man. For once, I was hoping for a review impressions video, whatever you want to call it, that wasn't disjointed, and this kind of did not end up the way I wanted. But anyway, that's kind of what I do when I don't work off a script. But anyway, so the first Ravio collects on the stuff that you have. Okay, so there you go. After you beat the first 2 dungeons, you can then buy them for an upscale price. You know, like bombs. Say for example, to rent them is $50, to buy them is like I think $800. In fact, almost every item is that same way, except for the ice and fire rods. They're like $100 to rent and $1,600 to own, which is kind of odd, but considering the fire rod is the only item that you don't have to get to beat all the dungeons, to beat the game. You know, not 100% obviously. 100% you want to get everything, but to beat the game, just baseline, you don't need the fire rod. The ice rod you do need, because with the fire rod, everything you can get can be taken care of with the lantern. Which is like the first item you get in the game. Like, you open up a chest and you get that. So now you're probably wondering, well, if you don't get items in the dungeons and you buy them instead, what do you get through the dungeons? What are your rewards for getting through the dungeons? Well, the interesting thing about that is you don't get stuff that change the dynamic of the gameplay, because you already have that stuff. You know, the hookshot, the bow, and stuff like that. Instead, you get stuff that makes you stronger. I'm trying to think of what you get through the first 2 dungeons. I can't remember what you get through the first 2 dungeons, but through the other dungeons, you get stuff like, you get the blue tunic, which has the amount of damage you have. You get the Hylian shield in one dungeon. You get the stamina scroll, which I'll actually get into what the stamina stuff does. Actually, I'll go ahead and get into what stamina does real quick. Instead of having ammunition for everything, you have a stamina bar, which tells you how long you can use stuff. This is all universal. It's kind of like, I guess you could say, like everything's connected to a magic meter, but it refills over time. The stamina scroll increases the amount of stamina you can use all at once. So yeah. You get this in one dungeon. You get Master Ore. Actually, in 2 dungeons, you get like this Master Ore stuff, which if you get enough Master Ore, you can increase the power of the Master Sword. and so on and so forth. And these are all through the second half of the game and stuff. Again, I can't remember what to get to the first 2 dungeons. But like I said, it's all stuff that increases you. Oh, one of them's the Titan myth. There we go. That's another thing. That's not through the first 2 dungeons, but through the later dungeon, you get the Titan myth, which always lifts heavy rocks instead of just normal rocks. So yeah, it's interesting that they do that, because now you can go into any dungeon in any order, and I pretty much did. Except for one dungeon. One dungeon, you do need to go through a certain other dungeon to go through that dungeon, because one of the items, the sand rod, is already being rented out by someone. The unfortunate thing is that someone is a sage, which in the story, you know how the stories of Zelda games go. Sages are the special ones. They're the ones you're pretty much saving to the dungeon. So yeah, guess what? You gotta save the guy. And I pretty much called that guy was a sage right away because of that. Now, one of the things you can... let's see if... Okay, so one thing I kind of want to backtrack on, I just kind of realized I didn't mention, with Ravio's items, real quick, the way you can tell the difference between a rented item and a regular item is the rented item has a little Ravio hoodie symbol on it when you go to select it. So yeah, not a big thing, but still, I just wanted to touch upon that. I will also note that the sage you say with the sand rod has a little Ravio hoodie on it the whole time, which kind of spelled it out for me exactly what I was gonna have to do for the rod. Yeah, like I said, it's a Zelda game. You're not playing the game for plot twists. you're not playing the game to get plot twisted. I was about to say to get Shyamalan there, but then considering his current streak of movies, it's probably not a good thing. After Earth was terrible, Avatar: Last Airbender was atrociously horrible. And to this day, it's the one thing I pirated that I proudly say I pirated and did. I'm not paying them for that bull crap. It was an abomination for one thing, and this is coming from a fan of the show, but I can separate myself enough from the show, from the show and the other sources. Even as a film goer, that movie was terrible. Even as someone who didn't watch, just from a film going standpoint, that movie was atrocious. I mean, again, like I said, I pirated it, and I still felt like they owed me money for having just watched it. And now Watch is whatever company owes that tries to sue my ass for that. Oh well, yeah. Anyway, yeah, everyone in America, everyone in the world has pirated stuff before, and it's just, like I said, I knew the movie was gonna be crap to begin with. I didn't know it was gonna be that bad. But anyway, you're not here to see me bitch about a crappy movie. You're here to see me bitch about a great game, or not bitch in this case. So yeah, so let's see. Did I say everything about the mechanics? Yeah, I think I touched upon the mechanics. Yeah, pretty much about everything I wanted. One thing about the actually no. I was gonna say one thing about the dungeon. One thing unique about the dungeon, you kind of had a choice of where to go with that, but you kind of had that choice with the other Zelda games. It's kind of the way the dungeon. So it depends on the way the dungeons are laid out. There's one dungeon I had trouble with, and I couldn't find a key for that. I had to go upstairs. I was downstairs, and so I had to figure out how to get that, and I couldn't figure it out. It was the one time I actually looked up a guide was in that particular dungeon. The one time. Well, that and trying to find the Maya Mize. All the Maya Mize. Which I guess now would be a good way to segue into that. So, everyone knows in Ocarina of Time and many other games you have your collectible things that are found in the main world. You know, the gold Skulltulas in Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. the Blue Chews, the Koros, the Triforce of Courage pieces, which that might be a slight spoiler for those who haven't played Wind Waker yet. Go play Wind Waker, especially get Wind Waker HD. It's a great game. Even though I haven't played it, I played the original and I know it's awesome, so Wind Waker HD is even more awesome because it's in HD and all this other stuff, and they got rid of the Tingle Tuner crap, which kind of kept you from 100% in the game because no one has a gaming cable and all this other stuff. Anyway, so yeah, all that stuff from, yeah, again, a bunch of different collectibles. Gold bugs from Twilight Princess. I'm trying to think of what Skyward Sword had. I don't think, did Skyward Sword have any? The Goddess Cubes, I guess, from Skyward Sword. I guess they also had like the different stuff to upgrade the weapons. Which I'm kind of disappointed that didn't come. Well, that sort of comes back in A Link Between Worlds, but not in the way that I wanted it to. It sort of comes back in two halves because during your travels in Hyrule in the Otherworld Lorule, which I kind of find a weird naming, which is the equivalent to the Dark World in this game. You can collect different items from monsters, you know, monster guts, tails, and horns. That's about it. And you can use those to brew potions, you know, paying, you know, rupee fine because you gotta find someone else, you gotta find the witch to brew it for you. Which I used like once, maybe. Yeah, once. Actually, I used like 3 times, but 2 of them was just kind of test it out and see what it was like. But yeah, it wasn't all that useful. I'm not a guy that uses potions. I get all my bottles and I just fill them up with straight up fairies. It's just fairies, fairy. Oh look, a fairy caught. Yeah, I'm one of those people that. That's probably why I didn't die that much in the game because I used nothing but fairies. The final battle, I technically died like 3 times but I had like 5 fairies. So yeah. I had 5 balls and all them 4 fairies, so yeah, the final boss is actually pretty difficult. Sort of. When I started getting the hang of it toward the end. But anyway, so yeah, you can collect items from that way, and you also got the Maiamais, which I've been trying to segue into. Once you get access to the bombs, you can go to this one little cave. It's pretty clearly marked. It's like, here's your house, and then here's your spot on the map of where it is roughly. It's in like the southeastern corner. Fairly close to your house. You'll see like this cave with like these little eyes and these little teeth around the opening that you got bomb open. And you find this cute looking Octorok. This giant cute Octorok. This like pink really spongy looking Octorok. It kind of looks like really. It looks huggable. There we go. Squishy. There we go. It looks squishy. And it's called Mother Maiamai, and she tells you that she lost her other Maiamai. They look just like her. They sort of do from the front. From the back, they have like these little shells on them, and yeah, you'll find them that way. And they're all spread around Hyrule and Lorule. And the cool thing about this that I'm going to kind of segue a little bit. Not a segue. I'm going to. Different parts of the map you see. Whenever there's a button that once you unlock the Maiamais, you can click this button and it actually shows you off like these little segmented parts of the map that show you where all like how many Maiamais are left in that section. And it's actually kind of cool that they do that. Because you still have to find out where they are, but you know at least where they are, how much is in this area, so you know where to search. But anyway, you get 10 Maiamai. For every 10 Maiamai, Mother Maiamai. I was doing so well there. So Mother Maiamai upgrades one of your items that you bought from Ravio. These aren't rented items; you have to buy them, and she makes them stronger. So you can get like the bow. You get the nice bow. It fires instead of 1 arrow, it fires 3 arrows. The nice bomb, I think it's called, the power bomb. It's a slightly bigger bomb with a bigger explosion. The Fire Rod, more powerful, lasts longer. Sand Rod, its effects last longer, though in all honesty that was the last thing I upgraded. The Sand Rod is literally useless except for like one dungeon and one area where you can get a piece of heart, and even then you don't need it, because I got through that area without the Sand Rod. I'll go ahead and tell you, there's this area in Lorule and Hyrule, it's the same area, it's called the Rupee Game. If you go into the Lorule area and talk to the Rupee Game guy there, he talks to you and you want to get as many rupees as you can in 30 seconds and go to the guy before the timer goes up. If the timer goes up, you lose, but if you talk to him before the timer's up, then you get to keep what you found. And if you make it there with enough of a time bonus, like say you got like 2 seconds left, he like essentially doubles your rupees. You get 150 in Lorule, 100 in Hyrule to get a piece of heart each. So, there we go. Actually, no, I don't need that. I need this. Sorry, I have like a little smudge on my glasses. It's kind of been bugging me. For those of you who don't wear glasses, the best way I can probably understand, you ever like blink and suddenly you got like a little blurriness in part of your eye and like you just kind of gotta rub it out? Yeah, it's the same for people. It's worse with people with glasses because it's there and you see it, but you don't feel it, and it takes you some time to realize, oh, that's on my lens. I should probably clean my lens. I've had glasses for like 10 years? Wow. No, it can't be that long. 7 years, okay. 7 or 8 years. Been wearing glasses. I've been wearing glasses for a long time. Mild astigmatism. Great thing about using tissues. If you need a cough afterwards, you go ahead and do it. I have a trash can behind the camera, just to let you know. So yeah. Anyway, so the My upgrade your weapons is actually pretty cool. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, she'll upgrade only the weapons you can buy from Ravio. So yeah, that's kind of limited, but there happens to be about 9 weapons you can buy, and there's 100 If you get all 100, she teaches you the Great Spin, which is like, press and hold B, charge your sword up, do a spin attack. This one takes up like half the screen. Or it takes up like the whole screen actually. And it's like awesome. I actually ended up using that on a boss once, I think. Once or twice. Actually, I used it for one of the spot pass things. For one of the street pass things. Street pass or spot pass? I think it's spot pass for this one. But you can do street pass is the same thing. But so I'll get into that real quick before I get any further with the story. So the street pass, what this is once you talk to the guy, you can set up your Link with whatever gear you have, and then set him up. And whenever you pass somebody on the street that has also played Zelda or is currently playing The Link Between Worlds, you'll send your data over to them. Of course, your 3DS has to be on and in sleep mode for this to work, which is pretty easy. Just turn your DS on and just kind of make sure this blue light's on. It's in sleep mode. Since I've gotten this, I've actually been using Street Pass a lot. You'd be surprised how many people come into McDonald's with their kids, I guess. Yeah, I got at one point, I think I got like 10 people at once, which is a lot of people. So yeah, I just had that in my pocket when I'm working. I have that in my pocket, my wallet on top of that to keep it from kind of act like padding, and just kind of walk around with it. I get my 10 steps a day, or 10 points, or 10 play coins a day from that, and yeah, I just do my normal stuff. I don't check it until I get home. So yeah, and I do the mini puzzle stuff, and I was doing the Find Me stuff, but I'm done with that. Got to the second dungeon, so yeah. Anyway, what else here? So yeah, the street pass. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. So once you set up your link and you pass somebody else on the street who's also playing, you'll send your link out to someone else, and that link will now appear in their world somewhere as a shadow link. That's how they get shadow link in this game. Now, alternatively, you also have Spot Pass, which Nintendo sends you one of their random links, which I've gotten a few, and they'll be somewhere in the world. And you go into Kakariko Village and talk to this one guy to find out where they are. There's like this little sign that pops up that's like this little blinking sign. It tells you the Shadow Link, give the player name, is waiting for you, give location. And it shows you the bounty from how much they're worth. And their worth is based on their gear. So obviously, like the higher level gear, the more worth they are. And you know, once someone beats the game, you can tell they beat the game because they have all the best gear, a crap ton of hearts, and the blue tunic or the red tunic, which I unfortunately couldn't find. And the red tunic's in the final dungeon. I couldn't get to that. I know it's in the final dungeon because I've seen a review. I've seen the completionist review of The Link Between Worlds, which I love that beginning. I love the beginning of his review. Hey Gerard, guess what just came today? Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds. I beat it already. No. How? There we go. How? That was funny. But considering he got a copy from Nintendo, I wonder if he's getting like constant ID strikes or not. I guess he's not because he's got from what I understand that's a reviewer copy. So yeah. I don't know. He probably has like some special thing. He just got done with his Majora's Mask review, which I thought was excellent. It really does explain to me. It really does explain why I like Majora's Mask as well. So yeah. Go check his stuff out. He doesn't need any more promotion. He's pretty popular as it is, but go check it out. It's The Completionist. Just type that into YouTube. But anyway, so oh wow, I'm 40 minutes into this and I haven't even begun to get into the story. Well, the story's relatively short anyway, so let's see, where was I here? So we got the dungeons, we got the sages, we got the Shadow Link stuff. So when you're battling the Shadow Links, you talk to the Shadow Link. You can't change your equipment, so whatever you have in your X and Y slot you're stuck with. X and Y being X and Y from the original, being your two items that you can carry. Which, by the way, when you start the game off, you only have access to one of them, and then you get another by going to this little grove surrounded by trees toward the bottom of the map. If you're playing the game yourself, it should be pretty obvious to find. It's like right next to Kakariko Village. And yes, I'm calling it Kakariko, not Kakariko, because I grew up calling it Kakariko. Technically speaking, I'm not wrong with saying it. It's just the accent I'm putting in it that's different. I'm just saying, you're right, I'm right, we're both technically right. It's like a potato-potato sort of thing, or tomato-tomato sort of thing. It's just a different infliction on different syllables. Or whatever. Just, I'm aware it's supposed to be Kakariko. I'm just saying Kakariko because that's how I say it, and I think it sounds better than Kakariko. And again, technically, they're both the right way of saying it. It's just different ways it's just different inflictions. Anyway. So yeah, you get that, you go there, you get this bag, and it gets you a second item slot. I got that, like, right away without even trying. I went there just to see what was there, because originally that's where the Boy with the Ocarina was, you know? The link to the past, so I wanted to see what was there. Which is kind of what the majority of this game did for me at the beginning. I explored a lot of areas, and there's at least one sage that I did not even know existed until I saved him. And it's because I never talked to him. I never went down to his area and talked to him because I was like, there's this place up in Death Mountains. Once you beat the Tower of Harry, you can keep going forward, and you keep going. And you keep seeing the sign that says to Rozo's ore mine. And I was like, okay, let's go down and check this place out. So I get there and I'm like, I get to this one spot, like, I guess it's where it was actually, and I just didn't go. I was like, right here, and I should have gone down a little further. Yeah, it's one of those sort of things. And it's like, huh. Well, this was a complete way. Because I saw, like, this other door here, and there's this arrow pointing saying to Roz's ore mine. It's happened to be pointing to the door. I go into the cave. Not door, cave. And I'm like, okay. This is not an ore mine. This was a complete... Maybe it's for later. Maybe it's for later. Go back and... Yeah, I just warped out of there. So yeah, while we're on the subject of warping out, I'm not trying to segue this any other way. In order to save the game, you gotta go to these little weather vanes, and you unlock the weather vanes. There's a lot of them. It's kind of like the owl statue of Majora's Mask, and that's how you save the game. Now, at first I was wondering, like, why do they do this? That doesn't really make sense to me. Like, why don't they just let you save whenever? And then I started thinking a little later, well, that would make the game a lot easier if I could just save whenever I wanted. Because if I saved in the middle of a dungeon, like just after I got through a really hard part, and then I died, I just hit quit, reload the dungeon, and go right past that part. I had not how to deal with it. And I wouldn't have to pay Rabio's fee. I get to keep the items. And all I'd have to do is just, you know, go back to the main menu and then reload the game. And I started thinking like that, like, those crafty so-and-sos, Nintendo actually is smarter than they look. And I say that because have you seen their YouTube stuff? Actually, I should say, have you seen their marketing in general? It's god-awful. The marketing for the game is actually pretty good. I like the marketing for Link Between Worlds. I like their marketing for Pikmin 3. But their marketing for the Wii U has just been abysmal. Whenever I hear my friends bash Nintendo, like, oh, no one bought the Wii, I point them to the sales number and say, everyone bought the Wii. And they say, well, there's no games for it, so no one bought it. Like, everyone bought the Wii. There were plenty of games for the Wii. No one bothered to look. I hate when people use that argument. The Wii U, I'll give you, there's not a whole lot of games for the Wii U right now, but they're building a library slowly. And let's face it, the PS3 didn't have many games. And I'm sorry I'm going on this mini rant, but just bear with me, please. But the PS3 didn't have any games when it first came out. It was $600 fracking dollars! No one bought the PS3. Everyone thought the PS3 was failed until about 2 years later when they finally dropped the Garum price. And yes, I am using family-friendly swear words. No, I've never seen Battlestar Galactica, but yes, I am a huge fan of Firefly. Why do you ask? For those of you who know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so yeah. Where was I? Dungeon, saves, yeah. So I started realizing the save system is actually kind of a vital thing. Now, another thing about the save system that comes into play here, eventually you'll run into this witch girl named Irene, who is like, hey, I've been told to help Green. I don't know what that means, but since you're wearing green, I'll help you. You can use this bell to call me whenever, and I'll warp you to weather vanes you've already seen. You already see where I'm going here. Quick travel system, which is awesome. Oh, I love it. And every time you call her, she'll say something. She'll have something different to say. It's like kind of. It really does help with the immersion. I really do like her, even though she's kind of standoffish at first. She gets like really likable eventually. I don't know. She kind of acts a little tomboyish, and I kind of like tomboy girls. I also like the cute and shy girls in the. What was the other? There's one other type of girl I like. This stoic. No, the carefree happy girl. Carefree, the cutesy girl, you know, the hyperactive cute girl. Those are 3 anime stereotypes all in one. I like the 3 basic anime stereotypes. Can you tell what I watched a lot of when I was young? That's right, Toonami. And no, I was not intentionally giving you one the birdie there. I was actually legitimately rubbing my eye. I'm sorry. I showed you my tote bag earlier. I showed you my little allergy mess, and the stuff that right there, like I said, is used for emergency. It's got about each pill is a 24-hour pill that has about 10 milligrams of antihistamine. My normal pill is about 180 milligrams of antihistamine. Yeah, you can tell that stuff doesn't work very well. It helps a little bit, but it's not very. It hurts. It helps me sleep at night. That's at least the important thing. There we go. So yeah, a hero I am not. I'm trying to figure out a way to say this doesn't make me sound completely racist, but I'm just. Give me a Jewish accent, I'm that stereotypical Jewish guy you see on Family Guy or South Park. Yeah, that's pretty much me. I hate to. I wear glasses. I have allergy problems. If I had a Jewish accent, I'd be like, I'm a horrible stereotype. I hate to say that. That actually sounds less racist. Less racist than I actually did in my head. I'm actually quite proud of that. I mean, it's somehow make it sound, at least to me, less racist. I'm gonna piss off on my Jewish watchers. We all don't sound like that. I know. I'm talking about the stereotype here. I'm not talking about the actual race. I know there's a difference. I know not all black people like grape cola. In all honesty, though, if you don't, what's wrong with you? I mean, it's not. I'm not even asking black people. I'm asking anyone if you don't like grape cola. Why don't you? That stuff's delicious. And so is watermelon and fried chicken. That's not first. Okay, real quick, another mini rant here. I know I've done a lot. It's like oh my god, it's almost half an hour. It's almost an hour long. Wow. for anyone who's sitting there, what? I gotta wonder, why is that a black stereotype? That's a southern thing, if anything. Like the fried chicken and watermelon, at the very least, is a southern stereotype in general. I mean, I've never met a man, woman, or child alive who hasn't liked watermelon or fried chicken. The more I'm thinking about it, that's probably just an American thing. Deep fried anything. I'd fry this. I'd fry my fan I bought for $1 at a flea market one day, just because. If people would fry that to eat. I saw an episode of American Dad. Let's see what other Seth MacFarlane shows we can show that. Well, what other crappy Seth MacFarlane shows can we show? All those. We listed both of them. They started off really good, and then they got really crappy after about 4 or 5 seasons in. Most people would say sooner than that, but I have a higher tolerance than most people. We listed both the crappy Seth MacFarlane shows, and I gotta figure out a way to do Cleveland show in this. I gotta figure out because that's the only one that actually stayed pretty good until it got canceled. And I didn't watch very much. I watched maybe the first 2 seasons and then stopped watching for some reason because it's only on Fox, I think, for the longest time. And I don't watch Fox. Just bad timing, I guess. Either way, episode of American Dad, they were talking about the deep fried stuff, and they deep fried a pen and ate it. I probably would have done the same thing. It probably would have tasted delicious, and then you'd probably end up in the medical room. But anyway, back to Zelda. So yeah, I talked about pretty much all the gameplay mechanics that I wanted to talk about. Now for the story. So, well, there's one more game mechanic, but I'll get into that in the story. We'll get into that in the story when we get there. So, you are Link, obviously, an apprentice to a blacksmith, who I'm only assuming that you got an apprenticeship because you're friends with his son. Because apparently Link is the laziest person in the entire universe. I mean, this is like the 5th time that Link's been lazy? This is like the 5th game in a row that Link's been lazy. We had Twilight Princess, I think he was lazy, or at least careless with Epona, or whatever you decide to name your horse. In Skyward Sword, he was a slacker, despite the fact he was in the Knights Academy, which is basically soldiers. Man, I got that. Yeah. If you know, where is my... There it is. There we go. There we go. Window wiper fluid. If you're wearing glasses, never go without one. Never go without a bottle. Glass cleaner. There we go. That's a more proper term. Glass cleaner, which the same thing. Windex will work just as fun. It's the same exact stuff. I mean, but the fancy stuff you pay $100 for, and only get a bottle about this big, will do the same exact thing better. Yeah, but I don't want to pay $100 for it. I'm poor. I work at McDonald's. What makes you think I'm ever going to be able to afford that? Even if minimum wage goes to $13, like unions want, it's not good. They're going to balance the prices out to make it. They're going to balance the prices out anyway. Social commentary, ladies and gentlemen. This pretty much just tells you what my opinion on life is. Yeah, it's like, anyway. By the way, just real quick on that. Yes, I do know that I'm doing the work of about $13, probably even more than that. But I completely understand why fast food restaurants and other companies cannot pay me more. I understand why, and that's why I'm against the $13 an hour, because they cannot afford to do that. You'd be putting so many companies out of business from doing that. I'm just telling you this right now. As someone that works personally in the fast food industry, I understand exactly why they can't do it. That's why I'm not bitching why I don't get paid more. I understand exactly why. I understand this, $13 would be not even close to the amount that someone in that industry would earn, but at the same time, it's like, they cannot afford to do that. Not without putting several people out of jobs. And I can guarantee you, I'd probably be one of them, because I'm not the best at working at McDonald's. I'm probably one of the worst people that work there right now. And that's actually kind of shocking to say, considering that there's been other people before me that absolutely suck worse. I'm not even kidding. I'm terrible at the job, and there's people that have less worth ethic that do worse than I. Don't get it. It scares me at times. But anyway, back to Zelda. How many rants am I gonna have in one video? Well, I guess we're going on about an hour, so I guess I have to have at least 15 more. Blah 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 politics, blah 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 religion, blah 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 this and that. Okay, there we go. That's not really a rant, whatever. So the story. Okay, so Link's the Princess of Blacksmith. Only got the job from his son because Link's lazy, and I'm surprised he hasn't gotten fired from the blacksmith, because the blacksmith seems disappointed in him. And the blacksmith just finished making a sword for a knight. I don't remember, for a captain of the guard. There we go. They call him the captain of the guard. I don't think they actually give him a real name. He's like, "Oh, this is a fine sword. Was it sword or shield? A shield." He gave him a shield. That's what it was. "Oh, this is a fine shield you made, blacksmith. It's the finest in Hyrule. Now I gotta go to the sanctuary and protect the priest and his daughter, who's a sage." And they just let that on, like, his daughter's a sage, like, just right then and there. It's like, okay, his daughter's a sage, whatever. And he forgets his sword. So, Link, can you take his sword to him? And it's actually kind of cool because they actually have a separate special animation for Link carrying the captain's sword. Like, you see his sword wrapped up in this cloth, and like Link's actually got it under his arm. For pretty much anything but picking up stuff. Like, when he picks it up, it disappears, but whatever. So that's like kind of cool. I like, oh, that's kind of cool. So I kind of walk around a little bit. I go straight to the sanctuary because I want to get the sword at least before I start exploring, or I start exploring Hyrule, because you really can't go anywhere without the sword at this point. So once you get the sword, you go in the sanctuary, which, it's the same sanctuary as before, almost piece for piece, I think. And there you find, first of all, you find the gates are closed. You have to find another way in, and so after you do that, you get the lantern, and you actually get to use the sword at that point. And you find this guy called Yuga, who, in my game, I kind of gave him this kind of Orson Welles / Vincent Price voice, but kind of did it in a very fruity way, because he acts very much like a like that. He's talking about, how, oh, this world is so ugly, and I gotta beautify it, or something. Gotta make it beautiful with my paintings. Yeah, that type of person. You get the idea. In my head, I was thinking either Orson Welles or Vincent Price. It's like, that would be hilarious if they did that. And I'm fairly certain at least Vincent Price did a voice like that when he was alive. I'm not so sure Orson Welles would have been caught dead doing that, though. He did voice Unicron, one of the greatest roles I've ever heard. One of the greatest voices I've ever heard, at least then. Even if Orson Welles didn't appreciate it, I want to say that at least somewhere along the line he understands it, or I don't know. Anyway, so that's the voice I gave Yuga. I'm sorry, I just saw the voice I gave Ravio. For some reason, I feel like I can't do it right now. Like, I feel like since the camera's watching me, I can't do it. But if I was ever on if I was ever let's playing the game, I might be able to do it. Maybe I'll just throw it in there in one of my let's play episodes. It's kind of like, hey, this is the voice I gave Ravio, and this is do it and just get it over with. I don't know. Maybe I'll find another game I can play that'll have subtitles, and so then I'll be able to sneak it in that way. Yeah, so Yuga turns everyone turns the sage girl into a painting, which, by the way, is probably one of the most childish looking paintings I've seen, but artistic rendition. And he escapes to the wall as Link headbutts the wall. It's like, I'll take you on! Oh yeah? Bring it. Yeah! 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 Stays in the wall. And you wake up supposedly a few hours later in the sanctuary, and then you go talk to Princess Zelda, and she's like, "Here, take my orb of." Go what the orb was. The green orb. I think it's the same orb from Link's Awakening. They might have changed the names. I don't remember. I don't remember what the orbs were, but they're like the green, red, and blue orbs. Same three, like the pendant. The pendants. That's what it was. The same thing you see in the other games. So she gives you that. So basically, actually, oh no. Yeah, she gives you that, and then you go through the first dungeon. I'm sorry. I said earlier. Forgive me. I said earlier you got the first dungeon. You actually got one dungeon you gotta go through. Then you get the next two dungeons. Forgot about that. You got the Eastern Palace to go through again, which is a bit different. You got one room that's almost a shot-for-shot remake, but then the rest of the rooms are different. And you're chasing Yuga through that room because there's another sage there, and you're trying to save him. And it's the sage with the sand rod, just so you know. It's not a big spoiler, you kind of know this already going in. Because he thinks he's the hero. He doesn't think he's a sage. He thinks he's the hero. And so you go try to save him, and of course you fail. And Yuga decides to stick you in the wall as one of his paintings. And escapes through a crack in the wall. Well, unbeknownst to him, Ravio, who by this point already made his way into your house, has given you a bracelet. This old bracelet that kind of smelled weird, I think, if I remember correctly. It said in there it smelled weird. That gives you the ability to walk into the walls and merge with the walls as a painting. And in turn, come out of the walls. Which is actually a very interesting mechanic, and it's kind of, when you're first playing through the game, it's kind of difficult to remember you have it, because there are certain areas like wondering, how do I get across this pit? And there's of course like a wall on one side. It's like, I wonder how I get through this pit. And there's one area like it's further up north, it's close to Zora's domain. There's like this one Zora that's like, how do you get through? And this is all after you beat the Eastern Palace, the first dungeon. That would be the first time they give you the next 2 areas to go to, and they say, hey, you can go here, you can go there, you gotta get the next pendants, and save Hyrule Castle. You need the pendants so you can get into Hyrule Castle because it's all blocked off by Yuga's magic. So yeah. So anyway, going how to get. So Zora's like, I don't know how to jump across, and I don't know how to swim. My first thought is, wait a minute, a fish person doesn't know how to swim. I at least have a defense in that I'm a Hylian who apparently never went swimming a day in his life. That's at least somewhat believable. You know, you can get people that are like that. But a fish person who has to live in the water, or at least I assume that they do. I mean, that's their native ground. Doesn't know how to swim. That really bugs me, and I think that's what kind of made me forget about my merge ability, because there's this cliff, you know, about yay big, or I guess realistically a little bigger than that, about the size of my room, from that wall to that wall, so you can kind of I'll let you kind of judge that distance for yourself. It's about at least 5 feet. You know, Link can't jump 5 feet. In this game, he can't really jump. He just kind of drops. That's really what he does. When you're on the edge of a cliff, he's just kind of shoot. But, you know, whatever. Use a Kuko to get around for most of the other stuff. So, I ended up doing the second dungeon. My second dungeon was in relation to the Zora Domain dungeon, because there's an item you gotta get before you can actually get to the dungeons. For the first dungeon, it's the power brace. For the second dungeon, it's the Zora flippers. And again, I don't remember what you get in the dungeons. I don't exactly remember. Yeah, so you go into the wall, go across. I didn't know to do that at first. And I didn't think. I was like, okay, so I need the Pegasus boots, right? Because you can get the Pegasus boots somewhere in the game. I gotta stop flipping people off by mistake. You got. You have to have. Yeah, you have to have the Pegasus boots for something, but I think you can get them later on. No, you need the. No, you get them from having the Zora flippers. Yeah, okay. Yeah. You get the Zora flippers, then you get the Pegasus boots, then you go in the dungeon. And you get the Pegasus boots and the flippers, whatever. It's the same question. Yeah, so you get the Zora flippers, you get the power gloves, power bracelet, from this one guy on the way to Death Mountain, and you go through the dungeons, you save the people, or actually, no, you get the pendants, and you open up Hyrule. You go into Hyrule Castle, go into the second floor of Hyrule Castle, and climb through Hyrule Castle that way, using what you've learned so far, and then you fight Yuga again. Only this time you're more prepared, and he steals the Triforce of Wisdom from Zelda, or something. He puts her in a painting. I don't think he actually steals the Triforce of Wisdom. That's right. He puts her in a painting, and he has already caught, during your travel, he already caught all 7 of the other sages. One of them being the young boy, the blacksmith's son, and Irene the witch girl that carries you around. Which is actually kind of funny, because when I was playing the game, I was walking around a lot, and at one point you see just her broom, and you see this ... And I was like, wait a minute, what happened to her? Okay, I guess she's busy. Maybe she'll come back later or something. Then I came in there and saw it, like, oh, she's a sage! Oh my gosh, that's awesome! Because again, she's one of the characters I like. That's one of the personality types I really like. She's kind of a gruff, tomboyish type of character, but she's still likable. She still has like this likable side now. Kind of like Rainbow Dash and My Little Ponies. There you go, made a pony reference. Nah. So let's see what else here. So what else? You got that. So he's finding out all the sages. I was looking at them like, yeah, know that. Oh, so he's a sage. That's cool. Gully's a sage. Gully being the little boy. Oh, look, Irene's a sage. Cool. Yay, I get to save her now. That's gonna be awesome. So I like her quips. I was missing the little quips. I was getting tired of the ... The Zora Queen's a sage. Which, I was like, I didn't even know she went missing. Oh yeah, no, there was a hint that she went missing. Because you talked to another Zora that's further down the map. He's like, oh, the Queen went missing. I wonder why she abandoned me like that. I was like, oh, maybe... I was thinking, like, well, maybe she just went back to the cave. Went back to the domain and just kind of didn't know he was gone. So maybe there's a side quest there for later. I don't know. Obviously, I was wrong. She's a sage. And yeah, a few other people don't care about. He frees Ganon with the sages and fuses into Ganon and becomes Yuga Ganon. Yeah, it's really weird. But then he vanishes into a peculiar crack in the wall. Yeah. He goes into a peculiar crack in the wall, and you follow with him, and you go into this other world. Almost a mirror image of Hyrule. It's Lorule. And their princess is Hilda. I'll give him that. The better naming. And I gotta say, I kind of like the design of Hilda better than Zelda. Like, even though they're like mirror images of each other, I kind of like the black-haired Zelda a little better. She kind of looks. To me, she looks a little better. I don't know. It just looks. I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that we've looked at the blonde-haired Zelda for the past 20 years. Actually, how long would it have been? Like, yeah, past 20 years, I think, isn't it? More than that. I think Skyward Sword was their 20th anniversary for Zelda, wasn't it? I think. Or at the very least, 15. We've had like 15, almost 20 years at the very least of Zelda. I'm looking at a blonde or light brown. Actually, I'm looking at my poster for Oracle of Seasons right now, right up there, and I'm looking at it. Kind of looks like a little bit of orange in there, so kind of like maybe dirty blonde. I don't know. Not brunette. I don't know. And with Link, we've been looking at blonde-haired Link for like a little less than that because Link was originally brown-haired, and you can kind of see in the Oracle of Seasons picture, the poster, that he's kind of transitioning between that at that point. He's kind of like dark blonde, kind of matching Zelda, I guess. I don't know, maybe that's the way I'm perceiving things. Anyway, he didn't have the almost bleached blonde hair that he does now. Actually, it does depend on the Zelda game, doesn't it? Anyway, so what else? So you go into Lorule, you meet Hilda, and you kind of, no, you don't. You're about to fight Yuga Ganon, but then Hilda comes and says using her magic to steal him away, and says, "Hey, you gotta find the other sages and get the Triforce of Courage to save the day." And so she gives you the location of all the dungeons, and it's or actually at least where all the sages are, because one of the dungeons is actually in Hyrule. That's actually very clever. I like how they did that. I just kind of wish they did a little more with, like, how'd you go halfway in. Like, when you're in the dungeon, you had the little portals and you could go in and out between worlds, switch between worlds constantly. I think that would have been cool. But they didn't do that, so oh well. They sort of did that. You get out of the dungeon at one point, you go in, that's where the boss arena is in Lorule. But here's the thing about Lorule that's actually kind of interesting. It's breaking apart. So you got like Hyrule Castle, in Kiriko Village, all part of like one chain, and there's like broken up bits over here, broken up bits up here, broken up bits around here, and you have to find a way to get to Skullwoods, which is the equivalent of Lost Woods, the swamp, Misery Swamp, which is the desert in Hyrule. But if you played Link to the Past, you kind of got an idea what Lorule is. It is really kind of like the Dark World, except more broken up. And in order for you to get between worlds, you gotta find cracks in the walls that take you between the worlds, like little warp points. And that's how you get around. And you still have the weather vanes in both worlds, so that's actually kind of cool. And so yeah, you go through, you get the stages. I got lucky, and I got the stage with the sand rod first. Just to let you know, real quick, in case you want to go ahead and get that out of the way. I believe if I remember correctly, I did the Thief Slayer first, which is in Kiriko Village. He got through that, yeah. He's in that one, which it's like right on top of Kiriko Village, like these two statues with this locked door. More of them, you gotta answer a series of riddles, basically fill in the blanks. It's pretty self-explanatory, though. If you need help, just look around Kiriko. So there's a few people giving out lines and just kind of memorize what they say. And you'll be able to get into the Thief Slayer. Once you get through that, you save him. He gives you back he gives Ravio back the sand rod, and you can buy that from him. I right away bought it from him. I didn't at that point I was buying all the stuff. I was like, screw this renting out stuff. I want to own it, because if you own it and you die, you can continue on from where you left off, and you don't have to start all over from the beginning of the dungeon. You really start your progress all over anyway. It's funny because I think I only died once afterwards, so all my deaths came when I was renting the items. Oh, that was funny. That's kind of funny in hindsight. Oh, please don't tell me my glasses are scuffed. I think I'm gonna need to get a new lens. No, that got rid of it. It looks like. Okay. So anyway, so you get all the 7 stages, and you return to the Lorule Castle, and you go through the castle. And spoilers, Hilda was behind the whole thing after all. So yeah. And for those of you saying, "Oh, why did you spoil it?" I gave you sufficient time to hit pause. After I said spoilers, I gave you a pause right there. Hilda was behind the whole thing after all because she needed your piece of courage, Zelda's piece of wisdom, Triforce of Wisdom, and Ganon's Triforce of Power to restore Lorule, because Lorule had a Triforce of its own. In fact, when did that fall? Oh, there it is. In fact, you may note there is a Shadow Triforce underneath your Triforce, and whenever you enter Lorule, the loading screen, the little loading icon in the corner changes to that Triforce, to that upside down black Triforce, instead of the right side up gold Triforce. And I thought that's kind of cool that it changes. But there's a reason why that Triforce is black. In Lorule, they had the same problems that Hyrule had. People going after the Triforce, being too greedy for their own good, and, causing utter chaos. Instead of sealing it away in the Sacred Realm, and hoping for the best, like Hyrule did, they destroyed it, which in turn destroyed their world. The Triforce, and this is actually an interesting thing, and this actually explains why like Zelda and Link haven't destroyed the Triforce already just to get rid of Ganon. The Triforce keeps the world stable. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, that's actually a pretty good way of explaining why the Triforce hasn't been completely and utterly destroyed. I mean, yes, it can be shattered, but then it can be repaired just as well. And so, that's actually kind of an interesting point. It's like, so this is the consequence. You get a crumbling world that goes completely to crap. And that is kind of cool. That's kind of a cool idea. And here's another spoiler coming for you. So, real quick, actually. You fight Yuga Ganon, and you defeat him. Hilda makes him stronger by giving him the Triforce pieces, or the Triforce of Wisdom. And you are not going to give him the Triforce of Courage, because if he gets all 3 pieces, both worlds are gone. He's already said, no, screw Lorule. This is a pathetic world already gone to crap. I'm going to destroy this world and Hyrule. So yeah, Hilda, who wanted to save Lorule, now doesn't... Yeah, it's kind of this whole... It's kind of a plot twist, but it kind of turns around rather quickly. Because all she wants to do is save her world, but it's at the expense of another world. Not a good way to do it. No, you know, it's kind of like I'm doing the wrong thing for the right reasons. What was it? Hell is paved with good intentions. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. There we go. That's it. Which I think it could work in this situation. I think it could work in that situation. So yeah. So she gets betrayed by Yuga Ganon, who becomes superpowered with the Triforce of Wisdom, and seals Hilda up in a painting as well. Zelda, who is still in a painting, manages to give you this special bow that you can use only in paintings. Only while in the wall. It's specifically used in the Ganon and Yuga fight. And it's kind of makes it pretty easy when you figure out how to use it. Basically, you'll fire one arrow at Ganon, and then turn around and fire another arrow, and it hits him in the back, because it'll block the first arrow. But I actually ended up doing that. I fought one arrow, merged out behind him, and fired another arrow. You can do that. But the final blow, I did it the other way, not even by accident. I think, if I remember correctly, I did that by accident. So I didn't think it'd go fully around the arena. And the final battle, that battle is like probably one of the easiest battles ever. I didn't die in that one. I died a lot. Died with fairies 3 times in the first one. So yeah. In the first phase, and that's primarily because I was still learning the boss fight. Towards the end, I stopped dying. He hits like a rock. Like with the blue tunic, you lose like half your health, and I had like all but like 3 heart containers. So yeah, the guy hits like a truck. Anyway, you defeat Ganon for the final time, and Hilda's about to take the Triforce of Wisdom and trying to take the Triforce of Courage from you still, even after you defeated Ganon. Except someone stops her. It's Ravio, who turns out to be their version of Link. Again, I want to see a black-haired Link now. And the thing about Ravio is he turned out to be this complete and total coward. And he left Lorule to try to find a hero worthy of saving Lorule. And of course he does. And the funny thing is, you see him come in with a rupee bag full of rupees, your rupees, that he sold you, that he took from you from selling items. Like, yeah, you went in there. You went in there to make a profit. You're using this whole hero thing to save your own skin, Ravio. I don't care. You're a greedy a-hole. Yeah, and you kind of see this sort of romantic-ish entanglement with Ravio and Hilda. though not really. I'm not sure. It's one of those that's very neutral. It could be taken either or, and I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be shipping them together. For those of you who don't know, shipping is like pairing unofficial couples in shows and games. I don't know why they call it shipping. I don't know. So anyway, Hilda's like, you're right, we can't let one place get destroyed at the cost of our own. But what do we do? There's no other way. Ravio's like, we'll find a way. We gotta send these two back. We'll send them back. So they take them to their sacred realm. Or their entrance to their sacred realm. It's like this big black obelisk with a crack in it. Which is connected to Hyrule. Which is weird because they don't have a big black obelisk in theirs. They have a Triforce. And actually, I kind of wanted to know where this was on the map, and I wanted to explore it, but they don't really let you explore it very much. The most controlling you get, you gotta move, you gotta push forward, and you don't get to really look around. It's kind of sad. But yeah, so Link and Zelda use the Triforce to wish Lorule's Triforce back, which I kind of look at and say, how would you be able to do that? Considering that the Triforce are made by the gods. I know that the whole idea is that the Triforce can grant any wish, but it has to be limited in some way. Otherwise, why haven't they just wished Ganon dead? Outright gone by this point. I mean, Wind Waker, the king of Hyrule, wishes to flood the world, the old world, pretty much completely, getting rid of Ganon and himself, which is pretty much the only thing that was left of the old world. Spoilers for those who haven't played Wind Waker. Again, go play it! Get the HD version on the Wii U. Buy a Wii U! Buy more Wii U's than the HD version. It's totally worth it. There are other games out there, trust me. Actually, I could probably look down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I bought 8 games this year. Well, 7 games. One of those is Nintendo Land. 6 games this year because one of those is New Super Mario Bros. U. So I bought 6 games this year. That's a lot of games to buy for $50 each. And they're good games. I mean, we got like... Let's see here. Wonderful 101. A great game, highly underestimated. It's worth playing, come on! It's awesome! The final boss is freaking amazing! Actually, the entire game is freaking amazing! I had to play a level a day because it drains me. The levels are draining. Oh, but they're so fun. Pikmin 3, another great game. I bought this at the same time I bought Wonderful 101. It's worth playing. It's Pikmin. Come on! Pikmin's great! What else here? Lego City Undercover. Yeah, the load times are crap, but it's still a fun game. It's Legos. It's Legos. Ah! It's my childhood. It's like the Lego movie. I want to see that movie so badly. Super Mario 3D World. It's Mario. What else do I have to say? It's Mario. Buy it. It's worth it. Those are Nintendo Land and Mario U. Okay, Austin Powers Gold member. That's a good movie. I like it. Okay, so I was 1 game off. 5 games. It's still a lot of games. But Lego Batman 2. It's a Lego game. Same as Lego. Okay, you get. The only game I regret purchasing, I paid like $38 for it. I'd say I probably made my money off of that, and it's like, nah, whatever. Okay, so out of all that, we got 2, 3, 4, 5 games worth playing on the Wii U. Come on, buy the Wii U. Nintendo, market. Actually, market stuff. Stop flagging our content on YouTube and start actually doing start actually doing what you're supposed to do and market your stuff. At least try and market some of it to get it out there. We know Mario exists, we just don't know the Wii U exists. Okay, so all that said, I think I'm done with this hour and a half review of A Link Between Worlds. Can I ever do a short video that's not less than 45 minutes? I'm like the Spoony. I'm like the Spoony one on reviewing movies. It takes me like at least 2 hours to do a review. Wow. But yeah, like I said, Link Between Worlds, a really fun game, really worth playing. All the other games I showed you right there are really worth playing, except ZombiU. It's worth playing if you can get for like $20. But I kind of had this feeling. Playing ZombiU, I kind of had this feeling of emptiness the entire time. It's kind of this. I wanted to like the game, but there was so much holding it back. And yeah, but anyway, so yeah. All those games, every game I showed you, worth playing. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, even though I haven't beaten it, worth playing. Link Between Worlds, definitely worth playing by. It's $39. That's a pretty good deal for, you know, the content you're getting here. It's worth it. I swear to you, I'm about near 100% of the game. I was only like 3 hearts off from 100%, so I was like, I think I was like, let me check here. I'm trying that. I was like 2 hearts off, I think, actually. I think. So it's like, I was about 8 heart pieces off. Once it loads. Yeah, 2 hearts off. Right there, there's my first completion right there. And like the file 3, I copied it over. So just in case I ended up deleting it. But yeah. So I was like 8 heart pieces away from 100% in the game. So yeah. It's a fun game, it's great, and I'd recommend it. It's Zelda, what do you expect? It's gonna be a great game. I love it. So yeah. All that said, I think I've gone long enough. This is an hour and a half and some change. I think I'll go ahead and end the video off here and say, I'll see you guys later.